Do you think that there's maybe some receipts owed on either side? And is this something that we would like to see?
Well, there is wrestling, so there's always receipts owed no matter what. You know, we'll be 70 years old at convention still thinking that we can probably duke it out. But
there you go.
Yes, like, of course.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back into iHeartRadio's official wrestling podcast, the Battleground Podcast. It is Battle from 105.9 The Rock. And, of course, WWE SmackDown is coming to Knoxville May 30th, Thompson Bowling Arena. Of course, you could grab your tickets now, Ticketmaster.com. But today on the show, we're joined by a very special guest. Everybody make some noise. Give it up for the one and the only Aleister Black joining the show. Aleister, how are you doing, sir?
Good. I had to get some H2 on for this, tongue-cutting interview that we're about to do. So
absolutely. And before we jump into any questions, we want to say first, happy belated birthday. I know we saw all over social media you had a big party recently.
Yes.
How was the birthday party? Was it? It seemed like it was a lot of fun.
You guys still there? Sorry, I don't know what.
Yes, hey, it's okay. We thought it was added to the effect, like you go black when you answer questions or something.
I don't know what happened there, but it was really good. I don't put too much value in birthdays, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Not of some sort of depressing thing. It's just like, it's something that we all do, but it was very important to my wife, and therefore it's important to me. He arranged a lot of this stuff, and 40 is a strange age, the way that I think about it, especially because nowadays 40 doesn't feel like 40 like it was 20 years ago.
Exactly.
If I think about my dad turning 40, I was like, wow, my dad's like 40 years old. He's like, he's got this, he's got that, he's got kids. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like I'm 40 years old, and I'm like, I have still no idea what the hell I'm doing. So, it's just, but it is a pivotal age, and I think this day and age, the 40 is not what the 40 was. Like I said, even like from the perspective of like being a professional athlete, I feel like I look better now than I did when I first entered. I feel like I physically am capable of more than what I could when I was 10 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
There doesn't really seem to be like an athletic cap at age 40 like we used to think. I think obviously with science, nutrition, and training and everything, all that stuff, obviously we've progressed a lot. And it almost feels like 40 is the new 30. And I'm sure that people are going to say that, oh, he's just saying that because he doesn't want to be old. And like, no, of course not. But at the same time, like I generally feel great. I feel good. I feel mentally matured in a way that I didn't before. I feel physically more capable now than I ever did. So it was a very important birthday. It was a fun birthday. It was a good birthday. A lot of loved ones. And crazy to think that my 40th birthday was celebrated whilst being back in the WWE.
Yeah. And, we want to talk about that. You coming back to WWE. Let's talk about the return. Yeah. What felt different this time when you walked through Gorilla and you got that entrance back? You got your old theme music back.
Yeah.
You walked into a WWE ring. What felt different this time around?
Me. I felt different. And obviously, the players are no longer the same players that were there, handling the business when I was there. Well, I mean, they were there, but they weren't handling it the way they were handling now. And the atmosphere backstage is so good, man. When I first stepped in, obviously, there's a lot of like old emotions that kind of come up for a little bit because it's something that you unwillingly left behind. And, you're lucky, very, very lucky that you're one of the few people that gets another shot at something. And it was a very thoughtful day, but in a strange way, it felt like I never left because everything was still the same in the most positive sense of the word. and then having the people that have always rallied behind me being in charge of everything and giving me the directions that I need, and taking the time to have the conversations with me leading up to all of this felt like anything short of having the red carpet rolled out for me. You know what I mean? And it was a great feeling. It was a great day. I was very nervous, but then I took a second. I put my headphones on, and I just kind of stood in it. You know, just kind of like, okay, this is about to happen. How do you feel? And at that moment, there was nothing that I'd rather do than be right there. It was really good.
Does the size of the machine kind of scare you now? Like, you know, it's a much bigger conglomerate than it was when you left, you know, the first time.
No, it makes me excited, man.
Yeah.
So many opportunities, so many new things, so many new players in terms of like in the locker room, so much talent, so many cool things. And a lot of the people that were on the verge of breaking through when I left are now completely running the WWE. People that worked with in the past, and like, the beauty about it is that everybody is still the same, right? But he's still the same. Great. Yeah, I work with great people,
right?
With fantastic people.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
Oh, I was going to jump in real quick. So your presentation has always been layered, you know, from the music to the gear, just everything.
Yep.
What elements of your persona do you think maybe weren't fully explored during your first run that you maybe want to get into this one to kind of incorporate into the presentation or move sets or anything like that, and kind of the version 2 era?
Great question. So I definitely worked on a lot more realism, martial arts, Muay Thai kind of stuff, you know, that clinch, knee sweep, you know, stuff like that. Just like little things. I'm a big fan of like small details. I would change, you know, the way that I would like apply a knee strike versus like, you know, doing what they would call a quote unquote bicycle knee. I would now pivot to the side and move my knee in sideways.
Right.
I would, you know, pivot my body shots different. I would hook my elbows different. Just anything that I can do to like make my style on a smaller scale dimensionally more realistic. And believe me, I have a whole bag of tricks that I haven't even pulled out yet.
Oh yeah.
I like to slowly, like, you know, mix things in, and I want people to get used to this one part of like a moveset before I add stuff to a moveset or I change stuff with a moveset, because I want the audience to get accustomed to something before I change it. So it's within the zeitgeist of, you know, the character. Personality wise, I'm a pretty thoughtful person from a psychological standpoint. And I think one of the things that I really like doing now, and I did it kind of slightly in that first promo that aired, that I'm going to start diving a little bit more in the psychological aspects as to how I would call it, talk about the elephant in the room, if that makes sense, where it becomes a little bit more not to, you know, borrow from the boss, but more cerebral, you know,
right?
What I mean? And maybe it is borrowed from the boss. I don't know. I'll get a text at some point, you know. It's a layer of the character that I've always wanted to do prior, but never really got the opportunity to do because it was managed very differently. And here the directions were, you know, so and so, and you know, my response was so and so, and it came together, and they were like, okay, this is perfect. This is definitely something that, as a slow burn, will manifest itself more and more. And the beauty about it is that, in my opinion, you know, talking about the elephant in the room can be both good and bad, because I think the best bad guys in the industry speak the truth, because especially nowadays, we don't like being told the truth, you know. We'd rather have a pretty lie, because it leads us emotionally, versus being cut down from the emotion with a reality that we'd rather not face, which makes people seem like the bad guy. And I find that an interesting human trait, and I think, quote unquote, abusing that in the context of this character will be a very interesting thing.
Oof.
Yeah, absolutely. For
Excellent
sure.
answer. Yes.
Of course, as you know, WWE SmackDown coming to Knoxville May 30th, Thompson Bowling Arena. You can still grab your tickets, Ticketmaster.com. Now, the one thing that a lot of the IWC, the Internet Wrestling community, is very excited about, they've already started fantasy booking Aleister Black's return to WWE. A name that continuously pops up in these conversations on social media. Obviously, you and Cody Rhodes having unfinished business.
Yes. Yes.
Do you think that there's maybe some receipts owed on either side? And is this something that we would like to see?
Well, there is wrestling, so there's always receipts owed no matter what. We'll be 70 years old at convention still thinking that we can probably duke it out. But
there you go.
Yes, like, of course, the beauty about professional wrestling is that it transcends a lot. And as you say, like, the IWC, they are an ever conglomerate of like a mind that will continuously push out narratives and ideas. And the beauty about it is that they can discuss it, they can agree, disagree with it. And I think for us, it's an interesting and a very useful mirror to bounce back off, because if something, and here comes that word again, if something is in that zeitgeist, it's something that we can utilize, especially if it catches fire, right? If there's something that is like wildly popular, then we can hint at it and see if it feeds the fire once we kind of like hint at stuff, and from that we can immediately draw, hey, let's pull the trigger on this, do these things. But Cody Rhodes, and it's funny because I had another interview where I spoke about Cody, and I think Cody is the ultimate professional. Speaking as, a human being, I think Cody is a fantastic person. As a competitor, I think that Cody is the marquee player at the moment. I think having run my storylines with him has made me so much more hungry for more of it, because I feel that there was a lot more that we could have tapped into. And I sincerely hope we can do that here, because there was so much left on the table, both verbally and stuff that was written down that we never got to, that hopefully now we can kind of like pivot, because the contrast between the two characters is so vast.
Yes.
That it makes such an interesting connection. And the fact that for those brief months that him and me have our history, it immediately sparks up that conversation. Like I said, that says a lot, because if that's where fans go to the second the opportunity arises again, or at least, that door slowly opens itself and people immediately go, well, hey, what about Aleister and Cody Rhodes? That says a lot. And that makes me think that the work that we did previously was appreciated to the point where people would like to see more of it, which is, again, the best reflection that I can have as to what is going on within in the mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. So do we have that night 1 or night 2 of WrestleMania, you and Cody?
Yeah.
Just throwing this out there. We're just going ahead and giving, Triple H the pencil right now. Night 1 or night 2, we'll let you pick which night you want for that match to happen.
I'm game. If you guys are game, I'll do it.
Either way.
Yeah. I think everybody would rejoice if we have either night 1 or night 2 main event, Aleister versus Cody. That's going to be incredible. Again, Aleister Black is on the show with us right now. WWE SmackDown coming to Knoxville May 30th, Thompson Bowling Arena. You can grab your tickets, Ticketmaster.com. Before we let you go, because I know that we're coming up towards the end of this interview, because I know we have a short time frame and we could sit here and talk with you all day long because we've enjoyed this conversation. One thing we like to ask our guests at the end of these shows, because we are a rock station.
Oh boy.
If we were to go through Aleister Black's playlist currently, and we're just kind of scrolling through and we stumble across a song that we're like, didn't think Aleister Black listens to this song. What is that song on your playlist right now?
Ella Fitzgerald, The Nearness of You.
Ooh, Ella Fitzgerald. Wow. A million cool points on that one. Excellent answer. Excellent.
That is solid jam. Well, Aleister, again, we can sit here and talk to you all day. And once again, we want to say happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, anything you want to say to people that are watching or listening to this interview right now?
Yeah. Come see the show. What are you waiting for? Don't hesitate. Just get those tickets. You want to. It's a fun time. It's a good time. WWE is bigger than it's ever been, and be a part of it. And I promise you're going to have a great time. There is not a single shred of doubt in my mind that if you are hesitant about getting these tickets, you're going to be bummed out and like, damn it, I should have done it, because it's going to be a great show. It's always going to be a great show.